let's be honest. But in the end, hey, still play on and see which matchup you do get when it's all said and done. But with that said, joined by Mini Maga once again. So looking forward to seeing what The Last of Us, especially what they pull out here. I want to say, last season they were actually in a very similar situation. They were in a spot where it didn't really matter a whole lot their result as they were knocked out. But so we did see maybe a little bit more of a fun lineup and play style, perhaps. So kind of wondering if that's going to happen here. But at the very least, I think it's safe to say we just want a good game, damn it.
Yeah, I just don't want to see jungle war beasts, please.
Yeah, right.
I think the hero is good. Just it's too passive in this meta, and we saw in game 1. But we might see something different, or hopefully we'll see something different. And also even war beast jungle can somewhat work, but particularly against a team that is so aggressive, particularly early on, like Reason Gaming, you can't get away with them picking up the war beast. But Mirax, okay, that's the hero we haven't seen in a while actually. Normally we sort of favour different sort of mid-initiators, the Pebbles, Magnus, even Devour or Kraken perhaps, but
yeah,
still strong.
I will say this much too. It's not ultimately unfortunate, I guess. I mean, I'm still excited for this weekend overall. Obviously, how it plays out, but I'm also really excited for the new patch, man. I can't wait to see. I mean, as you said, we got new heroes being introduced. I think it's Cthulhu Font, Silhouette, and then Shadowblade and Riptide even coming in. It's going to be interesting to see how those four, which do have a big impact. I think it's safe to say Cthulhu Font maybe the
Silhouette as well. I'm really looking forward to Silhouette. I remember when Silhouette was picked up all the time. I remember Noob G going Ghost Marches and things like that. It brings back loads of cool memories and stuff. But I think Silhouette definitely very, very strong now. Actually, after the balance and the changes. So yeah. I'm really looking forward to the new patch. Actually, see how it affects the competitive scene.
There's that, but then again, that's just one of many changes that happen, including the items, the Thunderclaw, the Charged Hammer. I mean, there's just so much. Obviously, I don't want to make this into a patch cast by any means, but yeah, it's exciting stuff. But we will have to wait one more week, obviously, as the Han Tour qualifiers for Season 3 kick off next weekend, and then eventually in a Cycle 1, which is going to be a blast, man. 8 teams in a Diamond Division. Good matches all weekend. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for that. But at the same time, again, we do have a good weekend here too with the current Jakarta Pro League. So here we are, again, developing with the draft. So as you said, they got the more access. They go Keeper of the Forest again against Zane, a very good keeper player in that suicide role. Could be a jungle keeper still, but especially with the Zane playing it so well, you kind of think maybe it's going to be the suicide keeper, but who knows? Torture and then Pebbles though is how they'll finish on the Hellborn side here. So nothing really too unconventional just yet, at least coming out.
No War Beast for The Last of Us. It was a good son. No, I'm joking. But yeah, at least they've got a bit more aggressive heroes. Even we see the Pebbles and the Torturer and even the Drunken Master. The last game of Corrupted Disciple, a little bit passive as well as the War Beast and stuff. So at least they're trying to get something early going on before. They might even lose the game before 15 minutes, and I think that's the way you sort of almost have to play against Reason Gaming. You can't almost play a different strategy. You almost have to play them at their strategy and almost be better than them, which obviously sometimes hard to do. But I think that's the way to almost play or almost beat Reason Gaming. Because if you go defensive, almost Reason will definitely punish you as a result. So.
Kind of saw that last game, of course, and there's the War Beast ban, so. It's a case of they may feel comfortable playing against it, but at the same time, it is comfort. It's comfort, and wouldn't be surprising to see it again on their side. So just gonna take it away. So we're definitely not gonna see it now, thanks to Reason Gaming. Solstice and Swiftblade taken out by the other team. Nymphoria and Soul Reaper, the other heroes, of course, coming out here. So Soul Reaper seeing that ban, not your usually go-to ban either, but
yeah. But I remember, I think it was Mice who was on Cast the a couple of weeks ago, and he says even though the hero might not synergize with the team in terms of pushing, the hero is a really strong laner, and I do have to agree with him. The hero is insanely strong laner, almost similar to Bloodhunter, but almost like a range version, because of the judgment that he obviously gives out with his Q, and the damage from his Withering Presence as well. A very strong laner, and it's just hard to deal with. And in a lane where you have to win in the short lane, it's always good to pick up heroes that almost guarantee you the win. So
that's a good thing. Yeah, I do remember that when Mike did talk about that the story period, and The Last of Us was doing as a team. Speaking of that we definitely saw it from. So maybe Reason kind of referred to that. But Moon Queen, the final ban with the Hellborn side, Empath, going to be coming out here for Reason Gaming. So they got their dual support here, and that very likely means, of course, it's going to be a Suicide Keeper, as we were expecting with Zane playing it so well. But carry going to be the last option? It's a matter of what, though. Is Puppet Master still on the board?
No, it's banned.
Okay, it is banned. I was going to say, is he actually still there? No, he's one of the initial bans. That makes sense. Moon Queen being taken out there, so yeah, could do Blood Hunter again.
Nah, I don't think they will, because Blood Hunter is actually like really strong carry, but he almost excels in the solo lane. And if you're going to be babysitting him, it's almost better to have a different hero instead of the Blood Hunter, because like the reason why Blood Hunter is so strong is because his laning phase is so good. But when it comes to sort of carrying potential and these like farming potential, it's almost better to pick up another carry if you've got the potential to get babysit, which they already have because they've picked up the dual support. So I'm thinking like something like maybe like a hard carry, but that can really utilize like farm. I mean, Madman perhaps allows to get aggressive as well. Dark Lady perhaps. I think they have a few choices, but it just comes down to what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, the Ophelia pickup. It's fun. It's interesting to think, really, that this is a hero that, especially all the jungle made of the Haunter Season 2, and then what even before that, obviously, this was a go-to, ban-worthy hero a lot of the games, but not so much as of late, since things have transitioned away from the jungle aspect, so we're going to be picked up here by The Last of Us. How about that? Predator. There you go. There's that hard carry for you. Predator pickup there. Obviously, the Stonehide, a very effective tool, and great synergy with Empath, like, well, she is with really most, if not all, carries, so not really great insight by myself right there, but it's something. Empath is there, too.
The only small quibble I've got is obviously Drunken Master's untouchable. Predator won't be able to really get involved with his venomous leap, and that's one problem with Predator, is that like he has quite a few issues in terms of getting kited. So maybe trying to lock down and sort of sit on Drunken Master will be the only issue, but obviously he's got other targets like Torture and the Pebbles. But at the same time, he can even get locked down by the Drunken Master, because obviously Drunken Master's lunge goes through, or his physical, so it goes through the Predator's Stonehide. But I mean, I think in the end, it's not the biggest of deals. I mean, Predator's still such a strong carry, particularly if you can get the impact inside him. He'll be ripping through almost anyone that The Last of Us put in front of him.
Yeah, he did have those, a little bit of change with that ultimate, now being just passive, and then the Venomous Sleep did get a buff as well. It's been a while now, but the thing about Stonehide, too, the thing I've always liked to reiterate the few times we do see this hero is that, yeah, it's great for the magic community, but it also does give you 12 armor at level 4. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. I mean, that's a good amount of armor right there for over 5 seconds. So, yeah, you do talk about, sure, he still can be crowd-controlled by the Drunken Master, but at the same time, popping that and Drunken Master can still beat on you with physical abilities, they're doing a lot less damage because of it as well. So it is kind of just another positive there when it comes down to that Stonehide. But what was the final pick? Wretched Hag? Yeah, Wretched Hag coming out here to finish things off, and that's how it's going to go for game number 2 here between The Last of Us and Recent Gaming. So you like the Hag pick up here to finish it?
Yeah, I think Hag pickup's good. I mean, it obviously allows some kind of kiting potential for Predator, which I talked about is one of his weaknesses. The only issue I've got with actually The Last of Us Drafts is the Drunken Master going suicide, and the hero's fine suicide if he's 1v1. He excels particularly in the solo lane, but seeing as Reason Gaming are going to be going the sort of 2 bottom, I think he's going to have trouble to really get his farm, and he's one of those suicides that actually needs farm. We talk about some suicides that only need level, so it doesn't really matter if they're 2v1, like Pharaoh or even Bubbles, but Drunken Master needs his farm, because if you get into the mid game and he's only sort of around 200 PM, he really is quite lackluster in team fights and just in the game in general. So unless he can somehow do immaculate in this long lane 1v2, it's the only maybe issue I've got with The Last of Us Drafts, but in the end, not the biggest of deals.
We'll see how that works out for them. You do see a recent game, and they're scouting things out. They got the tree leading the way. Going to give them some information, at least, as far as what to expect. But obviously, the heroes are backing it up, including Predator and Empath. They're maybe trying to get a cutoff here. Empath does have that wall, a very effective level 1 bloodlust killing tool, but once they get in range, probably not going to happen. You see Predator again. He's going to just kind of scare them off right here. Obviously, neither side actually has all 5 players. Both Moraxis actually isn't here for the Legion side, but neither is Drunken Master for the Hellborn team. So I think it might even be a case that neither side almost wants to fight right there. But, ooh, Pebbles? Okay. That was a little close. Agile placing a very aggressive middle lane ward right there. That's like just out of tower range. Jeez. But going to give them some good vision right there.
I think it's mainly to protect from the Ophelia sort of incoming ganks. The one issue that I might actually have with the warding coming out from Reason Gaming is that they've blocked the pool camp, when I'd rather actually see it block the other hard camp on the left. They've done the right thing and blocked the hard camp on the right side, and actually double blocked it. So this is going to get blocked again coming out from what you've got. But like you see, if you're 1v1, in my opinion, there's no need to block the pool camp, because obviously the support is not going to be able to use it or utilize it because you're by yourself. You're not laning with a support. In that sort of sense, I think the wall would actually be better to be blocked onto this hard camp here. Yeah, that's just mainly my opinion, is because that way you're going to shut down Ophelia completely. You see him already blocked on the hard cam on the right here completely, and if he blocks on the left side, she'd have no start at all here.
Yeah.
It is allowed to have the Skeleton King to have some kind of a start. But.
Exactly, has the Skeleton King. Not the most efficient farming creep necessarily, but at the same time, it's good enough, and she's happy with that. You do see Keeper though. Look at that. He brings in the Creeper dogs and.
Sneaky.
That's some heads-up play right there. As you said, Zane, very good with that Keeper the Force and showing off a little bit why right there. It's those small things that we constantly talk about that most certainly add up. And blocking the camp.
Yeah, and she's actually missed the Rev Ward on the pool camp as well, which is going to even more reduce her farm.
Wow.
The hard camp on the right is blocked as well, and the only sort of creeps you can really farm is the yellow camp and the hard camp, or the medium camp. But farming with the Skeleton King, like you said, is farming really slow. So this Ophelia is going to have a really, really bad or poor, barely any impact actually into this game at all. While in the meantime, we see Empath roaming mid. Actually, he's going to try and maybe sit something up on this Pebbles and Torturer.
Yeah, you see middle lane again. He's trying to play patient enough, but wants to wait for the best angle. Obviously, as far as a lead stun, Rhapsody staccato, but it's not necessarily a longer stun, even with all the uses of it. So would have to really catch them off guard, but the likelihood of that happening, especially top tier players right here, it's not the most likely. So not for the time being really doing much. So I mean, Empath, is this the case? You think if you're Empath, you only want to wait here so long? I mean, they're going to go for it actually right here. Here's the initiation. They do get it off right there. No wall from Empath just yet. Finally, the wall coming off. The chuck happening. Moraxis still goes to the other side of it. Pebbles is going to be fine. Ophelia now coming in. He doesn't have a minion, but the nuke comes out in the auto attack to finish off Moraxis. The Skeleton King wasn't even there, but who needs a Skeleton King when he got his nuke to work with? So
that was just an incredible play coming out from Misery. Actually saw the opportunity to turn it, and as a result did. I mean, and that wasn't really Empath's sort of fault, really. There was not much he could really do. Yeah, he put out the wall eventually, but that wasn't really an issue at all. It was just they didn't have the burst damage to really take down Pebbles because of the composition they have, and as a result, Pebbles saw the opportunity to turn on Moraxis, and good roam potential coming out from Ophelia. Didn't even have a creep, but that was all she needed, was the auto attack and the Ophelia's judgment. So good first blood coming out from The Last of Us, and a lot better start compared to game one. So good job by them.
Yeah, that's a very, very true statement. Again, game one not really going the best of them overall, and definitely leading towards a victory for recent gaming, but a good start for Ophelia. You see Drunken Master, his farm, not doing too bad either, but neither is Predators. In fact, they happen to be the same lane, but Predator even doing much better. In fact, leaping in right there, but that was almost awkward, as he does lunge away, or even a stagger from Drunken Master to make sure to get away. You see a wall off right there from Empath, but just going to allow him to apply some auto attacks and phase
yeah, and the kind of issue I only have with Saint actually in middle lane, we see Torture going down, but going back to Drunken Master, I said he actually 1v2, he doesn't really fare that well because he can't get the farm he can get, but in this almost whole match, he's just been 1v1 against this Predator because M has been trying to gank mid, and as a result, middle lane, Pebbles.
They want this Pebbles dead. Moraxis has another X coming up in 1 second. He has to stop. Oh, he ran back into the stomp right there. That's, it's hard to question that because he definitely was looking for the support to help turn it around maybe, and actually they might get the Rhapsody kill because of it all. Impalement's doing some damage, but good blocking from Moraxis. The final auto attack, not enough, and Rhapsody will survive with the health push, and you see stun comes out of Moraxis, but he too should be fine. So very, very close calls, but yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to maybe argue what Pebbles was going for there. He probably would have died anyways, but definitely ran right back into that stun from Moraxis right there. Bottom lane, again, Drunken Master. He's going to take some pressure, but look at that turnaround potential, actually. He jousts him into the tower right there, and he gets the kill. That's the power of Drunken Master. Lunges even him into the tower.
I think Empath probably in trouble as well, actually.
Yeah, I think she's dead. I mean, lunges up once again. Ooh, the fade to black. It always is an issue in the cases like this, but not so much.
Oh my god.
That's not what you want to happen.
And this sort of side, Drunken Master 1v2 is actually kind of really bad, but Empath wasn't in the lane the whole time. He wasn't boxing at Drunken Master. He went to go mid and try to set up a game, which actually failed in the end. And in the end, Drunken Master's taken control of this game. Middle lane, actually, Moraxis going in on Torturer. Yeah,
W is activated right there. The Arcane Shield from Moraxis, and actually gets a kill right there as a result. And that was actually a very good use of that Arcane Shield, because I think Pebbles even wanted to chuck off Moraxis. I mean, it would have been tough with everything nearby, but that was not going to be happening. especially with that Arcane Shield. So easily gets the kill on a Torture as a result. So yeah, definitely positive situations in different lanes for different teams here. It's safe to say the middle lane's actually going pretty well here for the Legion team. Even after Ophelia's assistance earlier on, overall Moraxis having a much better time. 3-1-0. A big reason for that, sure. As he's, what, 350 gold per minute. So yeah, he's that type of hero. Again, we don't see him too often nowadays, but you get him that portal key, he's one of the stronger initiators in the game, no doubt, with his skill set. So that's very big for them. Top rune action, actually. Not much is going to be happening. Zane there with level 6. That could be something if they get more numbers here, but I don't think they're going to be going for it. Drunken Master finds Empath. The wall comes out, though. That's a beautifully placed wall. That's going to force him to walk all the way around. He tries to get somewhat close enough, but that's not going to happen right there. So.
Yeah, this Drunken Master's had so much more than he should have had, though. Like 1v2, he should have just been getting almost like 180 GPM, probably max, but ended up going to get 330 GPM after getting like a double kill on the short lane. It's almost absurd. He's trying to gank mid here as well, actually.
He's looking.
No, he's just going to go back, most likely. I mean, the longer he stays here, the more farm that Predator gets, and the less farm obviously he gets as well. But if he can secure a kill here in middle lane, it's definitely going to be worth it. It's just depending how much time he's willing to waste. But it looks like he's going to run back.
Well, it's okay, so here's the thing, too. Let's talk about Predator for a little bit right here. Again, he's one of these heroes. He definitely has he has some choices. You know, Elder Parasite could actually be seen decent on him, especially since the change, and he doesn't necessarily need a Shrunken Head because of that Stone Hide. You got Insanitarius, you got Alchemist Bones, top lane. He's going to be pointing to the top lane. Keeper the Force going in. Root comes out right there. Predator with the assistance, leaps on Ophelia. Ophelia's touch comes out, but probably just delaying the inevitable. Puts the Vagabond leader nukes in. But yeah, she does go down. Wretched Ag, she had a Bat Blast, but they were not going to get a kill. Nice deny on the tower as well. Coming out from Imba Boy, playing the Predator. So obviously good response right there, but then also, again, what do you think? What item would you like to see here on him?
I think, oh, my voice is going there. Elder Parasite and Sagittarius is probably the most common item build because it's the hero, the items just fit in perfectly, honestly. Just offering a lot of damage, a lot of attack speed to sort of take effect with his Carnivorous. And I think that's the main two items you should really go for, particularly these first two items as well. I mean, after that, it's kind of debatable on what he wants to go, but I think those two are almost core on him. It's just almost as core as Pebbles with Portal Key, etc. So.
Okay, so Insanitarius?
Yeah, Insanitarius, Elder Parasite. I'd probably like to see actually. Yeah, I'd like to see Insanitarius first, actually, because offers a little bit more bulk, and then go Elder Parasite. Actually, top rune, Pebbles might be in trouble.
Yeah, he is in trouble indeed. Out comes the axe, going to miss right there, but there's the stomp from Moraxis. He actually takes the rune in front of him. It happened to be an illusion where he gets chucked back. He has this Matrix up, though. Torture's probably going to fall victim. As a result of that, there we go. Bat Blast does come in, though. Pebbles wants to get a kill, and he will pick it up on a Rhapsody when it's all said and done. So a 1-for-1 exchange. Wretched Act does have a blink. She's going to use it right here, but I think Moraxis is going to be fine. But bottom lane, Fuzzy Sloth, man. This guy's just having a great time on Drunken Master.
Yeah, just insane plays coming out here, killing the Predator. Like a hero that you'd expect not to be able to really man up, actually, but in the end he does, and just gets another kill onto Immerboy. And this is definitely not you want. You put two heroes in your short lane to sort of shut down this Drunken Master, and in the end you've got the Drunken Master shutting down the Predator and the Empath. And so it's looking very, very bad for Reason Gaming in that respect. They do have some positives, so they do have Probus farming very, very well in the middle lane, and Pebbles not farming as well, but still farming okay. But at the same time, Zane doing quite well on the Keeper of the Forest. But again, this Drunken Master is just playing rather out of his mind, honestly, in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, he most certainly is. So, well played by Fuzzy Sloth indeed for The Last of Us. And without his success, The Last of Us might not have nearly as good of a chance, but they got a lead both in a golden experience. And you can say a big part to him, especially with the situation that he was put in. So, shout out to you, Nero, by the way, for subscribing to Honcast channel. Big shout out to you. Always fun to see new subscribers and enjoy those chat emoticons. Well, they're pretty badass. But anyways, back to the game. Drunken Master. Okay, he's back at base. That's why he was all right there. He's actually got the Ghost Marchers, Power Supply Bottle. We'll see what he goes for here. Maybe that Soul's Bulwark to follow it up earlier on. But Predator, I'm still kind of curious now. Again, it's death slowing him down a little bit. Especially now in this case, would you criticize him heavily for going Alchemist Bones at this point? Or would that still be like a case of, okay, that's fine, understand it?
No, I think Alchemist Bones is just too late at the moment. I mean, I'm one of those players. I think if you can go Alchemist Bones a little bit later, then I think I can't remember the exact number. I think it's around 6 or 7 minutes you're expected to get it. But I just think at the moment, like not only is his laning presence kind of weak, and because this Drunken Master's having such a great game, but at the same time, I think Reason Gaming almost needs to somewhat get aggressive and start trying to find kills, which they're going to get. No, actually, Sandra's going to get picked off instead. But yeah, I just think Alchemist Bone's a little bit too late now, and he needs some items to really get involved in these team fights and try and get some golden XP back for his team. I mean, Reason Gamer, 2,000 gold down, 3,000 experience down, and I think Alchemist Bones isn't the way to really get back into this game. Like, farming isn't the way to get back into this game.
Okay.
It's getting aggressive, actually bottom lane.
Yeah, you see Drunken Master going, he thinks this is a 1 versus 1, but it is not. Now, Keeper the Forest going to come out as soon as he does. Oh, he pops a tentacle, but the Root's going to lock him in place still. He finally gets off right there. The chases, though, they're having a tough time, man. They're running into each other even. Out comes the Venomous Leap. Finally, though, the lunge away. But it's not enough. Zane actually does get credit for the kill. Obviously, Empath also have assistance right there. Now to the middle lane. We have more action taking place. Arcane Shield is activated. Where's off, though? He gets chucked in on a Torture. He stomps Torture as a result. Matrix goes up. Now, that was to the tower, so you get the idea there from Pebbles, definitely. But can Probusk survive? It looks like he should be able to. Hag is porting in, but yeah, Regen popped and going to be fine. They do push the top lane. That is the Last of Us does. While that was all happening, the secondary tower. So their lead does continue, and actually they're going to dive right here. They got the Skeleton King, double Skeleton King, Minotaur. There's the 2 nets coming out. The Minotaur stun. He gets stunned actually himself. He cannot get his AoE stun off. And now Ophelia's getting turned on. In comes Predator. Ophelia has the Ophelia's touch. She's like, what's the point, though? I'm dead anyways. In the end, so there's the response coming out. Imba Boy getting some kills here.
Yeah, I was just like, the kill actually on Drunken Master almost was fine because of what it opened up. You see Ophelia and Richard had getting the tier 2, and it was safe for them to do that. We saw it actually in the tier 1 where Keeper Forest rooted and got TPs coming in from Meraxes and Rhapsody, but after the Keeper root was down, after getting the kill down on Drunken Master, it freed up the Last of Us to get a tier 2 top lane actually, which is almost better than losing Drunken Master, honestly. But I mean, the golden XP has closed a little bit in favour of Reason Gaming, and Merax is very close to his portal key. He does not want to die here. This would be like a complete key pickup if he can get his portal key before he dies.
Yeah, it's tough though.
Think about it. Yeah.
You see Pebbles right here. Oh, this is bad for Pebbles, though. He's right next. They can see him right now. They know he's here. They're just playing it patient. They don't want to dive completely and give it away. But I don't know if they're really going to have a chance in the end. Yeah, there's just too much support nearby, and they don't have that PK initiation just yet. So they know he's here. At least that's forcing them to play defensive, which is a good thing, but they're not going to be able to capitalize with a jumping Pebble, so he should be fine himself. Not Alchemist Bones, but Elder Parasite is picked up by Predator here. Very likely now to follow that up, of course, with the Insanitarius, and as you talked about, that's kind of that core build in your mind on Predator. So it's going to be good to see that there. Portal Key is purchased by Meraxes, and it is going to be delivered currently, as Keeper the Force also comes to the middle lane. So they really are trying to set up something here, even bait with Empath, but I think Pebbles may be too weary of that.
Yeah, he has that lane ward actually, middle lane that Nasty's put down, so he should be able to see that, and he does, so he just backs off. But now the portal keys on Meraxes, this is where it opens up. It just opens up, pushing towers because of that initiation factor that the Last of Us just doesn't have. Pebbles just about 400 gold away. He's going over to the Ancients now, which is most likely where he's going to get his portal key from. No, where is he going? He's sort of staying around her. But yeah, so this is going to be a free tier 1 tower. Just because of the portal key on Meraxes, I almost assure you that if Pebbles had his portal key, they would most likely try to defend that.
Oh yeah.
But they're still going actually. Tier 2. This might be a little bit risky for the gaming.
They just triple stacked their Ancients, but yeah, it's like a case of, well, do we just give up our middle secondary? It's a tough spot. They don't have the portal keys we're mentioning on Pebbles just yet. They do have Ophelia coming from the side. They're going to look to collapse right here. There's the stun on only Keeper the Force. The locked in the Rhapsody in the background from Ophelia. Here comes Drunken Master. Untouchable is up. He lunges in. Rhapsody is going to end up falling right there pretty quickly. Predator, he pops his what is that? A Stonehide right there in the end. And actually he's going to get chucked back in. Holy crap. They say Stonehide this. And he just melts anyway. So what you're talking about doesn't mean you're immune to everything by any means. And he gets taken out. Keeper the Force trying to survive right here. Do they have any kind of dust on them? It doesn't look like it, so he should be fine. But they're just going to go do their triple stack Ancient. So no portal key, schmo portal key.
Yeah, and actually, what you probably didn't notice that Merax actually went to top lane to try and attack or trying to take down Richard Hag. He had double damage, but he actually wasn't involved in that fight there. So Hag just blinked away, and then TP'd mid, and it was a 5v4 for the Last of Us in terms of or against Reason Gaming. I mean, as a result, they got so far ahead in that team fight because it was just the numbers advantage. And now they're 4,000 gold, 5,000 experience up, and Reason Gaming, that was just honestly like quite a amateur sort of strategy or amateur sort of play what they did there, not being as 5 and still was able to get caught out, and as a result, they paid the price for it. So
yeah, another thing I noticed too, I'm not sure, Keeper of the Forest, if he had mana, and if he did, if his ultimate was off cooldown. I think it might have been, and he just didn't have the mana for it, and he did get locked down off the bat anyway. So yeah, just a lot of factors where Reason Gaming just wasn't really ready to fight right there. But they tried to push that secondary fairly earlier on, and obviously it bites them in the ass in the end. So definitely credit, though, to The Last of Us when it's all said and done. You see bottom lane, speaking of Keeper, he's going to be fine. But Drunken Master going to let him know that he's not going to have this lane for free by any means. And applies some good damage, actually. And I said fine. I mean, he still is, but drops below half life right there. That's a Soulsborg Drunken Master for you. Especially being level 12 and having those abilities up there. So he has 1,900 gold saved up, by the way. So Drunken Master well on his way to his next tier of items. Speaking of that, Wretched Hag also working towards that Grimoire power here. It's not too hot. I mean, we haven't seen this. We used to see it all the time, obviously. I mean, we don't see it many times nowadays, but a Wretched Hag Grimoire into Shrunken Head, very, very strong. And eventually goes from there, obviously, with items like Sheepstick and whatnot. So, middle lane, though, there's a jump on a Pebbles right here. He's going to throw the Stalagmite, trying to live. The staccato stuns are making that very difficult, though. And Torture doing all that again. He chucks him out the last second. No, the axe to snipe him out from Profusk. A hell of an attempt from Misery, but obviously not enough in the end.
Yeah, and he played it almost perfectly. He was bottle sipping it all the way through that as well, but just not enough HP to survive in the end. But good pickup coming out from Probus, actually. And Probus is one of those players that if he ever sees a hero just a little bit overstepping his boundaries, he will be the first to capitalize on it. And as a result, it almost secures the tier 2 tower mid, and so just it shows the importance of that one pickup and what it can do. So well played coming out from Probus.
Yeah, it was nearly a 5,000 gold lead for Reason Gaming, or excuse me, for The Last of Us before that, and now it's only about a 2,800 gold lead. 2,800 gold lead, of course. So that obviously going down a little bit right there because of that whole situation. It goes to show you again, it's just a simple pick-off. Results in that secondary tower kill, and a lot of gold for the team coming out as a result. And the longer this game does go on here, the more time obviously by Predator. And you talk about dangerous, dangerous carries to deal with. Predator is up there on that list, no doubt, as far as his potential. And especially against the likes of, again, the Hellborn team. There's a lot of crowd control, a lot of magic damage reliant. I mean, sure, in the end, yes, Drunken Master, he's full physical, of course. But, Wretched Hag especially, she's not going to be able to do a whole lot against the Predator with that Stone Hide, of course, when that's up. So her power is going to be milled a little bit right there, at least to an extent, with the presence of that Stone Hide.
I actually think, if it goes into the super late game, I actually think The Last of Us probably have the advantage. Yeah, Predator, a very scary carry, but at the same time, you've got kind of like the 3 core coming out from Pebbles, Hag, and Drunken Master, and they offer something just a little bit more than Miraculous can. And although Keeper of the Forest, very important and very useful, his main sort of factor is his root, and if they get Shrunken Heads or even Geomet's Blade come out from Hag or Drunken Master, his effectiveness in teamfights really kind of reduced, and so it only goes back to sort of Predator's effectiveness in teamfights, and whereas whereas Drunken Master, Hag, and Pebbles will probably still offer something into the late game. So yeah. I mean, it'd be close to see who has the real sort of late game factor. But I think if he goes into the super late game, I think The Last of Us probably just about has it. So, but that always depends. I mean, you could say, one team has the better late game, but if make a few misplays into a team fight, then it doesn't really matter, honestly. So
absolutely, it's I can't count how many times on paper things seem one way and then they completely go the opposite. But here we go, initiation. Pebbles going to be jumped. Nice Minotaur stun, stopping a little bit of follow up right there. In comes the Rhapsody, the floor right there. The jump, don't forget to port back. It was in time. On to Pebbles. That was huge. He was no doubt dead, and the tower actually gets destroyed. Oh, that's one of those. God, that's a team you're just like, oh, really? That just happened?
That was just so well played. You see all the focus is on Pebbles there, and you saw Fuzzy doing the right thing, picks off the Rhapsody all the while that Reason Gaming have their focus on Pebbles, and then there's a simple send back coming out from Ophelia, just honestly gives them like a 3,000 gold lead, as well as taking the tier 1 mid. Like, that was just a beautiful play coming out from The Last of Us, and as a result, really paying off for him.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, even with Empath inside that Predator and his new Insanitarius with the other Parasite, he still wasn't able to do enough, of course, to take out that Pebbles. But that does go to the point now, so that he has that core. I mean, something like a Brutalizer just seems like it might make a lot of sense here, as far as a follow-up.
Yeah, I think Brutalizer could definitely work. I mean, there's I mean, there's even more sort of damage items like Shield Breaker you could even go for, but I think Brutalize is also somewhat of a key sort of core as well because of the high attack speed he has. It increases his chance to proc on his bash, and you know, just offering a little bit of lockdown as well, which is some kind of an issue for Predator because he gets kited quite easily. It can obviously help him as well. So yeah, Brutalize would be a fine pickup on Predator actually.
Drunken Master, in the meantime, though, he is the top farmer in the game, 470 gold per minute just about. He's got the Shrunken Head to follow up. That Soul's Bulwark, and obviously a very significant item there. Wretched Hag also following very close behind, about 430 gold per minute, but again, she has that Grimoire, so you can expect that number to continually rise here. On the side of, The Last of Us, of course, as now she's working towards the obvious Shrunken Head follow-up here with the Mighty Blade pickup. So is Pebbles, for that matter. So a lot of Shrunken Heads coming out all across the board, and you can thank more than likely Keeper of the Forest, especially for that on the Hellborn side as far as getting that to get out of the root, obviously. Speaking of items, though, once again, Moraxis, he actually has a Hellflower on the way. He's got the 2 Arcanas, the 3rd one on the way. I mean, Probusk, he's 400-plus gold per minute, so I don't want to say he's quietly been doing his thing. He's just a very loud hero in general, and he's definitely been, we've been commentating his ganks and whatnot, but he's going to be a big factor on why Reason Gaming is not only holding in this game, but has a good comeback chance here.
Yeah, and the Hellfly is going to be a key pickup, particularly against Wretched Hag, because obviously when he's Hellfly, can't use his Flash of Darkness, and that's going to really help out his teammate of Imberboy, because otherwise this Predator will be really struggling to almost kill anything. Like, he's got the damage, definitely, but it just depends if he has the lockdown, and that Hellfly is going to be a big pickup for him. I mean, he is, you know, somewhat lacking in sort of survivability without having a stronger head, but I think the Hellfly is almost preferred, because without the Hellfly, I don't think that Reason Gaming can really, you know, kill people. Honestly, they can do a lot of damage, but I don't think they'll be able to finish them off. I mean, they do have the Keeper route as well for the lockdown, but that Hellfly is definitely going to be a massive pickup in these team fights, definitely. So.
Double damage rune on Predator currently. Again, very scary there, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make much use of it as far as hero kill attempts. More so just increase the farm even that much more for him for the time being. But once again, just kind of rinse and repeat here. Drunken Master, the top farmer. As far as Ancients go, you see double stack Ancients here on the Hellborn side. Going to be maybe triple stacking it here at that 23-minute mark. Conqueror, of course, up. And as I say that, it looks like they're going to go right into the pit right here. So Legion team, they do have a Ward of Sight over the Ancients. They might have somewhat of an idea. But then this is the classic argument is, well, can they stop it anyways? Even if they knew, so
they have no vision like anywhere. Yeah. Like, this is really questionable, honestly. Like, they've got dual supports, and you know they've got wards sitting on Andro, but like if you don't place them, then they're not going to be useful at all, obviously. And as a result, this offers like a free Kongo. But honestly, I think that could definitely be contested if Reason even knew about it. Like, but it was just too late, and honestly, I think that's a little bit of a misplay coming out from the supports. No need to flame, but. You have to have Kongo vision before or after like 20 plus minutes, because especially like if you know, the Hellborns are so easy to get Kongo. Like if you don't have vision to sort of protect it, then you know this happens, and as a result, they're gonna definitely push in and try and make use of their advantage. So
yeah. That's I'm sure as soon as Reason Gaming saw that message pop up and the announcer make the point of it, they got pretty scared when they heard that. So. You got Wretched Hag with that token, of course, as you're talking about. They're just going to easily push in this secondary tower. Obviously, it's a very difficult decision for Reason Gaming in terms of where they pick and choose their fights, especially in this case. Predator's just going to be in the front grounds. He gets locked in initially. Stonehide comes up. Here comes Moraxis in the background. A big initiation. In comes the Give the Force route as well. And they get the quick kill on a Drunken Master. Wretched Hag, he is still alive. He's about half-life. Currently, though, has that token. But now Moraxis getting turned on Pebbles. He's still doing plenty of damage. Moraxis will fall. Predator in the background, though. Cases like this, he gets the Venomous Sleep off, he will get the kill, and the Stonehead is up to prevent the Minotaur stun, and now he wants more victims. He's going to go for Torture right here. Keeper of the Force assisting with the auto attacks. Here comes Rhapsody as well. He's trying to assist for something. Oh, Wretched Hag blinks, but she dies in mid-blink. Down goes Torture. Predator's doing plenty. Oh, but they're projectability just a half a second too late. If that came up a little bit quicker, that could be completely different in this fight. The way it finishes, but she dies too. And when it's all said and done, the token alive coming into a huge play in that huge team fight.
Yeah, that double stun count from Protoss was absolutely insane. Like, I was thinking in my head before that fight happened, I don't understand how Reason can even take this fight until that happened. Perfect initiation. Drunken Master fell before he did absolutely anything. Didn't even get a chance to use his Shrunken Head. And as a result, it's a 4v5 before the fight even started. And Reason not got lucky, but in a sense they kind of did, because otherwise I think that would have been a definitely bad team fight to take if they didn't get a perfect initiation come out from Proboss. But yeah, you saw the damage and the work that Predator did, and I think that the Last of Us almost have to focus this Predator, because the amount of damage he does is insane. Like, and that's kind of all that Reason Gaming have. Yeah, they have the initiation with Keeper, the Forest, and Miraxis, but if you think about it, if you sort of really break it down, it's the Predator doing the most amount of damage, and if they can somehow like take him down quickly in the fights, the rest of the team obviously doesn't really offer that much for Reason Gaming. But in the end, just still amazing initiation count from Proboss. Really still ceases to amaze me. So
yeah,
well played from Proboss.
As we said, I mean, he is going to be the one factor, no doubt, for Reason Gaming in this game at least, in terms of them having still a very solid chance of the way he's playing. And yeah, he get another initiation like that next fight where Predator has that much more farm, then who knows what can happen. Speaking of that, Predator, it looks like he's going for the full demonic here. And ooh, what's that? Atro gets picked off. Oh, that's understandable. Main support Rhapsody gets picked off by a farmed Pebbles. Not surprising there. But I was going to say, I don't know. How do you feel? I'm having mixed emotions about this. What's going to be a full demonic here coming out for Predator.
Like, they do need the demonic, but at the same time, like if Predator is like your main source of damage, like you just want like damage from him. Like, I mean, the demonic can be picked up by like other people, and you see actually Proboss already maybe somewhat starting the demonic. Like, he's already picked up the ring now, and like I think that just comes down to maybe a bit of miscommunication. And Proboss could have definitely got the bulwark eventually, and I think the demonic's going to be useful for Predator, obviously offering a bit more attack speed, but at the same time, like, he needs that damage. Like, he's the sole source of damage, like, and picking up the breastplate can be picked up by someone else. If you're the sole source of damage, you need to sort of save your item slots for complete pure damage items. I mean, it's not a bad item pickup. I just think there's better choices for it in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I kind of agree with the thinking that you were having right there. It's like, yeah, Drunken Master, sure, that'll mitigate a lot of his damage and whatnot, and also increase your own, and it's good to have that in general for the team, but as we were talking about earlier, so what about those raw damage items, something like the Shieldbreaker, something like the Brutalizer, like we kind of saw that last fight. I mean, in the enemy, he did a lot, sure, but he was getting kited for a good amount of that fight too, especially when the Stonehide's not up, and that's the idea of something like a Brutalizer, that, it'll keep them near you at least, as much as possible with that extra lockdown. So you could definitely argue a lot of different ways, but in the end, you have to choose one, and in this case, of course, it looks like at least going to be that demonic. And yeah, I'm also very curious too what Miraxis is planning to do with that ring mail, because at this point, to simply put, go for that Soul's Bulwark even at this point. I mean, maybe a Barbed Armor, I guess.
Top lane.
Yeah, but yeah, they're going to be initiated up here at the top lane. Miraxis going in, give it the Forest. He gets done as soon as he comes in as well. He was going for a root. He couldn't get it off, though. He does have the cooldown still, but in the meantime, two of his supports are dead, and give it the Forest, maybe a third right here, as he's going to be chased down. Wretched Egg blinking in Sunscream. There's the lunge and the kill on a Keeper of the Forest. So, yeah, they took a fight up there, Reason Gaming specifically even, and that backfired.
Predator?
He's going to sneak in.
Is he?
Is he? I mean, okay, yeah.
And yeah, this just goes back to a vision and what it does for you. The Last of Us have a nice ward up here, placed by the Nasty up in top lane. They knew they could take that fight because they had the numbers advantage. And you see, like, just the impact the vision has, and just the team decisions that can make a difference. But Proboss going in.
Miraxis, he's looking for that God initiation once again. Maybe not as strong as last time, but here we go. Keeping the Force follow up. Wretched actually blanks away in time. In comes Ophelia's touch. Miraxis is taking some good damage. Here we go. Predator, though. He's popped all his cooldowns. He's going all out auto attacks, but he just drops once again as soon as that Stonehide is off. He just gets too much clustered, and he can't do anything about it. Down he goes, and that could be it for Reason Gaming as well. The Last of Us is really pulling ahead here now. They're going to get both racks right here in the middle lane, obviously. And then eventually, we'll see what they do. Maybe make their way to the top lane.
I think they could go top lane as well. Predator's dead. Like, he's the main source of damage. He does have a buyback, but he needs to use it now. Like, they can't. Yeah, he's going to use it now because they can't lose the second rated racks.
He uses it. Well, let's get the fallback in time. Nice initiation right there on the Pebbles. Miraxis trying to get a kill still, and Pebbles is going to fall in the end. So again, at least they pick off one there. With the buyback
That's
from
fine,
Predator.
honestly. Like a buyback from Predator means so much more than losing Pebbles, because I don't think Reason Gaming can really capitalize on this, death from Pebbles. They've got 50 seconds to really do something, and Kongol's still not up yet, and I don't think they'll be able to push Rax. I mean, they are sort of grouping up mid, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. At the same time, Pebble does have a buyback as well, so that could even be some kind of a lull them into a false sense of security if they do decide to push in. But
you know what else I noticed that last fight too? Ophelia and her army, she actually had a wolf commander in there.
yeah.
Again, I love seeing that, man. It's one of those. People like the Skeleton Kings and the Minotaurs, especially for obvious reasons. But I think you could argue, man, having a wolf commander is pretty damn good too.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like 30% is just so much. Like it almost is linked to, like, I think Andromeda is like 36% base damage if I know that correctly. And like for one creep for Ophelia's like out of 3 is a really big deal, honestly. And obviously with like a lot of physical damage dealers like Drunken, Hag, and Pebbles, it's offering so much more than I think than one Skeleton King or one Minotaur could actually do, honestly. So I definitely do agree with you that actually the Wolf Commander is definitely a big pickup. The only problem is obviously he only has like 800 health compared to say like the Minotaur's 1300, and so with the AoE damage he might get picked off, but with the right micro, I think it's definitely in favour. And I think these are the perfect 3 creeps you get. You have just with the one Skeleton King, one Minotaur, one Wolf Commander, because it makes a big difference in terms of the late game. Honestly, just like that extra 30% base damage does a lot of work. So.
It's speaking while we're on that track, I've always been an advocate of this too. Is freaking Snotter Boss, man. Snotter Boss, the speed aura that it gives you, OP.
No.
OP for game. No, yeah, it's pretty bad. But
it's not got like 300 HP.
yeah, that's the one downside. That's one downside. I think, no, on a serious note, though, you could also argue maybe something like an Ice Ogre, not too bad either.
Yeah, Ice Ogre
as far as
definitely work.
Different than what we're used to seeing, but
I think you could maybe and I'm being like really sort of giving you the benefit of the doubt. Like if the Snotter Boss had like crazy radius with his movement speed, and then sort of push it, like put it all the way back, and then he wouldn't die. But like I think the radius is like 500. Like it's not a lot, so you'd have to put it in the thick of the team fight, and it's just going to die instantly. So there's no point wasting an Ophelia minion on it. But I think the Ice Ogre definitely make a difference, though, particularly if you're going against a lot of physical presence like this Predator, actually. So I mean, we might even see it in this game, perhaps. But
exactly. So props to what you got for sure for using something a little bit different, and again, it makes sense with the Wolf Commander. I want to reiterate this, guys. I know people continue to bring it up, like about items. We are in a previous patch, guys, so we're not on 3.5. That's why you may see some things, you be questioning some things, like, oh, I thought Drunken Master got nerfed. Well, not yet, not yet. This is the previous patch. So Drunken Master is still very powerful. Yeah, no.
2v1, yeah.
So, but yeah, again, just to clarify that, obviously the rest of this Carnage Caldor event throughout this week will be played on the previous patch than what it is now. So 33 minutes in, though, Conqueror's got to be coming back up here in the near future. I'm sure the Hellborn team is very possibly waiting for that. There we go, though. Moraxis jumps on a Drunken Master, looking for the quick pick once again. This time he's dropping a little bit slower. Storm Spirit comes out. Predator is in. Stonehide already popped. He needs to be careful. As soon as that wears off, again, he could drop, especially with the Elder Parasite. There's the Sheepstick. He's in trouble. There's the lockdown, and down goes Predator, exactly as it was last fight as well. Predator, when a Stonehide goes off. And that's obviously the big downside of the Elder Parasite. You're taking a crap ton more damage, basically, so that doesn't help either.
Concede. I think it's going to go through, but
I think, yeah, I mean,
maybe out of frustration. Like you saw, like how easy it is to lock down Predator, but once the Hag picked up the Sheepstick, you saw the amount of damage coming out onto Predator, and this is the problem of like putting all your eggs in one basket, like the Predator. Like they're going all in on this sort of Predator to sort of carry them into the game. Yeah, they've got nice initiation with the Miraculous and the Keep of the Forest, but it's like I said before, the Predator is the main source of damage, and once they sort of eliminate that threat, the team fight is just completely nullified for Reason Gaming. So really, actually, well played coming out from The Last of Us. I thought when Drunken Master went up in the middle lane, I was like, no, don't do it. Like Pebbles is top lane, it's just a risk you don't need to take. But in the end, they fought almost 45, and they're going in again actually for Keep of the Forest. No, just about missing him, but in the end, worked out well, and they've got the Congo now, and I think honestly this is their game to win, as long as they don't make any crazy kind of misplays.
Yeah. So I was kind of wondering earlier when Moraxis, obviously they already had a Soulsborne, even going for the Demonic. He got the chainmail. He does turn that into a barbed armor. Of course, that makes a lot more sense here in the end. So has that to work with now, and a lot of AoE damage and everything going on here on the Hellborn side. That's definitely could bite them in the ass themselves if they're not careful. Realizing that. Is that a full resto?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, what did he? Did he
This is their
sell
time
something?
to-
He must have sold something. Maybe not actually.
No. He had the Perseverance and Health and the Arcana, so I don't
This
think
is
he
the
did.
one hope.
Yeah.
That's why they're still hanging in the game. Raxus finds that jump. There's that first keeper root coming out.
Oh.
It's all 5. Shuriken heads go off. The second root is going to be coming out. The second root goes off. Predator in the meantime, they're trying to take out Shuriken Master, but he's just too tanky. He goes back in. He basically 2 shots wraps it in the back on, just tears him apart. Predator will go down once again as soon as his Stone Eye goes off. And there we go. It should be official now. Exactly. So understandable why they maybe wanted to hang in there a little bit longer, give that a shot, but yeah, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen, so.
Yeah, like, these initiations that come out from Probus Insane are, like, absolutely perfect, but you just saw, like, the damage just wasn't there after the initiation, and one of the Shrunken Heads were being popped by Drunken Master and Hag, and even Pebble was like, they just didn't have the damage to cut through, but in the end, you know, Last of Us took it, and we're going on to a game 3, so
yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm happy, man. I really am, because, you know, in the end, obviously, with what's been going on here and the delays here even further today to go to have this match delayed to the later time, you know, the worst case scenario would have been a very, very quick series, and then we're just done for today. So, hey, at the very least, we are getting a best of 3 going the 3 games, and so can be at least somewhat satisfied with that. I'm hoping for you guys at home too. But with that said, once again, now